The following is a presentation of the Missouri Sports Network.
Thanks for joining us today. It is Labor Day 2024. College athletics are up and going, and they have taken off and going to go at a rapid pace from here on out. My name is Eric DeRo. I am sort of a Southwest Missouri guy, local to this area, and a Missouri native, and awfully proud of Missouri sports and what it represents, high school all the way to college. Joining me today is Darren Archer, and he will be joining me regularly. We're planning to co-host a college athletics show featuring in-state colleges, big and small. We really think our state has a lot to offer and a lot of untold stories when it comes to sports. And so, Darren, I'll let you chime in and tell me what your thoughts are regarding Missouri sports.
Yeah, thank you. And hey, we're awfully glad to be able to bring to you on deck with DeRo and Arch. This is our inaugural edition, and I want to thank everybody for tuning in. This is something that we have worked on for the past year, DeRo, and it's finally come to fruition. We've finally found the time to be able to get this put together, and we're really looking forward to bringing and showcasing Missouri college sports at every level throughout the state to our listeners and viewers. And just awfully excited about this venture, and I'm looking forward to telling those stories that are going on around our state that not everybody may have the opportunity to hear about. And so hopefully we can bring another avenue for our student athletes to be showcased.
For sure. And you've mentioned a little bit about our vision for this and how we've sort of spent some time trying to figure out what this looks like. I think there's some really interesting things that are going on in college athletics right now, which makes this a great time to be a fan, nationally, locally. Obviously, it appears that there's a lot of parity in every sport across the board. I think a lot of factors go into that. Obviously, one of them is there's a lot of kids at a lot of young ages playing a lot of different sports. Some of them specialize, some of them don't, and there's arguments on both sides for that, obviously. But you go to any baseball fields in the summer and you're going to see a 10U team and a 12U team and so on, and softball the same way, and club volleyball and AAU basketball and all those kinds of things, I think is providing for a really balanced high school and college experience athletically. I think the NIL actually has contributed to that parity a little bit. I think there is this trickle down effect, so to speak, and it just seems like there are more athletes that are ready to compete than ever before. We're kind of from a different generation, and it is easy as older generation sports wise to sort of take shots or be critical of today's athletic generation, but there's no comparison. They are clearly more skilled and bigger and stronger and faster than we ever thought about being.
Absolutely. And, we've been on both sides. We've been an athlete and we've been coaches for close to the past 30 years, and both at the high school and collegiate levels. So we've kind of seen it from both sides. And putting on my high school hat, so to speak, it's really changed the landscape as far as the opportunities that our student athletes have these days to be able to go on and play college. The total number of sports that are available to our student athletes these days has really expanded from when you and I were athletes. You know, the opportunities to move on and play at that next level has really expanded. From a college coach's aspect, it has entirely changed the game. Basically, this is the minor league of pro athletics, especially at your higher NCAA Division One and in some instances Division Two on down levels. So the whole landscape has changed. I'm not real sure my thoughts on it. You know, I've tried to think about, gosh, if I were a college coach in this day and age, there are so many other things that you have to worry about as far as recruiting and keeping a student athlete. You know, there are so many different factors, in the NCAA, especially the NCAA has opened up the rule book, so to speak, and it's kind of become the wild west. And you know, I think that's why you're seeing a lot of older coaches tend to get out of the game across the board, especially at the higher levels, because that's just something they haven't had to deal with in such a long time. And now they're having to hire on a small army of people to just do fundraising for NIL. And then once you get the student athlete, then you have to keep them. And it's a constant recruiting war. The landscape has definitely changed. I haven't yet determined whether it's for the better or for the worse. I've got to feel like for the student athletes, it's for the better. You know, hey, if a coach wanted to leave and go to another school, they do it. You know, a student athlete hasn't always had that opportunity. And now that they do, the coin's kind of been flipped, so to speak. And we're seeing the other side of those results.
Sure. And one of the things that I've always been drawn to as a fan or an athlete or coach is sort of a program that brings a group of 4-year kids in, and you sort of, as a fan, you sort of grow with them and you fall in love with them, and you watch them sort of grow from a freshman athlete to a senior athlete. That's always been an appeal to me. And I think a lot of people out of our generation obviously sort of like that. And you know, some of your blue bloods, if you want to call them that, you know, your North Carolinas and Kentuckys and those folks, like you kind of used to seeing the same guy in the same uniform for 4 years. And you're right. That's really hard to do right now. And again, you know, the NCAA has afforded the student athlete the right to market himself or herself, which is entirely fair in our opinion. At the same time, that makes it tough probably for coaches. It may make it hard for fans to sort of fall in love with their program and watch their favorite player sort of grow up in front of their eyes. So yeah, I think there's a lot of different angles to that. The fact of the matter is it's here and it seems here to stay. It'll be interesting to see if there's some limits or some sort of boundaries that start to unfold over the next few years from the NCAA regarding those things. But definitely an exciting time in college athletics right now.
Absolutely. And it's our pleasure to be able to kind of localize that, so to speak, and make this statewide, and not only talk about, you know, our state schools, Mizzou, Missouri State, SEMO, a lot of those bigger schools, but also talk about other universities and colleges around our state and showcase their athletic programs and their student athletes.
I agree. I think there's a lot of stories out there that are missed, perhaps, at some of those other colleges. And so I think, Darren, I think you and I share the same vision that we want to be conduits to share those stories. And so athletic directors, sports information directors, people associated with colleges, if you're listening to us, please reach out. We would love to feature your team or your athletes, your coaches. We'd love to get your name out there and tell your story, if you will. That would be exciting for us. I think there's a market for that, and I think we can help do that. So please reach out when you can.
Absolutely. And that with this being our first show, we wanted to kind of share with our viewers and listeners kind of our vision for this show and where we want to go with it. We can't do this without your help. So if you have an idea for a story, somebody's made a great individual accomplishment or a team that is kind of sitting in the background that we need to bring to the forefront, please reach out and contact us. We want to feature those kind of stories. And once again, that's kind of our vision for this show. And enough about that. After the break, DeRo, let's get to talking some sports. What do you think?
Sounds great to me.
All right. We'll be right back after these messages.
The Chevy RS family of SUVs has it all. Whether you want the 10.2-inch diagonal color touchscreen standard on Blazer or extra peace of mind with Chevy Safety Assist, take your pick. The choice is yours. Find new roads at your local Chevy dealer.
All right, here's the thing with loans. Don't look around. If you do, you start noticing things. Noticing things always leads to other things like, yeah, we should probably fix that up a little. And we're not spending, we're investing. We're talking future here. And look, it has 200,000 miles. Time for a new one. You've earned it. You know what's crazy though? All those things are true. For the little project or the big dream or just about anything else, a great Southern loan is just right for the things you can't help but notice.
Well, welcome back to today's show. This is On Deck with DeRo and Arch. I am Eric DeRosset. Alongside me today is Darren Archer, and we are, as we said in our previous segment, we are looking to do something in terms of a show and media and those kinds of things that promote college athletics, particularly within the state of Missouri. We think Missouri has a lot to offer in terms of college athletics, and we want to be somebody that can help spread that word. I want to go back just a second. In the break, Darren and I were talking about a couple of things, and one of the things that we mentioned was that one of our goals with this show is for us to be sort of approachable, just sort of a common person fan when it comes to Missouri athletics. And so with that, we want you to feel like you can reach out to us at any point with information, with scores, with feature stories, coaches, SIDs, athletic directors, fans of the program. Please feel free to contact us on any of the various platforms. We would love to hear about your school and your programs, and feel free to do that. We would love to hear from you. Darren, let's move on to some fall sports that have started up. Football and volleyball both are in full swing.
They are, and I think the pace will pick up a little bit more even next week. There were a handful of football games this week, but things will get going in full force next weekend. At the Division I level, obviously Mizzou has things together. I think they're preseason ranked number 11. New poll should come out later today on Labor Day. It'll be interesting to see where they fall. They could be top 10 after week one, which is pretty amazing when you take a look at where that program was 5, 6, 7, even 10 years ago, and to the prominence, not just in the SEC, but on a national scale, that Coach Drinkowitz and his staff and players have brought his program to. So they had a good game. Of course, that's not the only show in town. Missouri State, SEMO, Lindenwood. Lindenwood opened up with Kansas talk about a tough opener. They opened
Right.
up with Kansas and probably had a good payday from that. Good for them. That's what programs need to, build their program bigger and better. But it was neat to watch SEMO on ESPN. Not this weekend, but the previous weekend, opening weekend, and to see a Division One program here in the state outside of Mizzou be on the ESPN flagship channel, and had a great showing. And it's also what I like about it is they have a lot of former Missouri high school athletes on their roster, and it was neat to be able to watch them.
For sure. You referenced Missouri early on. Yeah, it seems like they're for real. They're obviously, or perhaps the number one receiver in the nation calls Columbia home. If he's not number one, he's got to be 1B or something along those lines. And he's got some guys around him, some skilled guys around him. And just the culture there, I think you can sort of feel that culture change or just a little more air of confidence regarding Mizzou football. The fan base is on fire right now for Mizzou football. So that's exciting. You've referenced Missouri State. From all accounts, they competed really well last night in Montana. It sounded like they did some really good things there and have some things to be proud of and to build from. And so for their fan base, I think last night was a good opening act for Missouri State. Obviously, SEMO, anytime you get on Twitter, when you get on ESPN, it's great for your program. It's great for your university, great recruiting tool. And again, you're right, that local feel or that local connection that maybe SEMO has is it does sort of build that fan base a little bit when they can tie players to certain areas of the state and feel like they're one of their own. So, really, really good things at the upper levels. Division II, Central Missouri State seems to be poised to be a force to be reckoned with in Division II. Their ranking is, I think, number 2 in the nation. Had an outstanding season last year. So Central Missouri State seems to stand out in Division II, but they're probably not the only one in the state, Division II, that's going to provide some problems, Darren.
Yeah, Northwest Missouri State, same song, different year with them. They are traditionally national powerhouse, and I know they lost a tough one first week of the season, but look for them. But when the season rolls on and they get more reps, they've been known to play a very tough non-conference schedule, which gets them ready for the always tough MIAA. And you and I know from experience, the MIAA is, if not the best, one of the best conferences in all sports, top to bottom in NCAA Division II. So there should be, you take a look at that whole conference up and down the schedule. Don't count out Missouri Western, Missouri Southern. They run the party for a couple teams last year, and look for them to take that next step up this upcoming season. And then, of course, in the state of Missouri, you also have the Great Lakes Valley Conference,
Right.
which is from top to bottom a very, very, very competitive conference. And look for there's a lot of parity in that conference, and I believe the University of Indianapolis was picked to win that conference, but there's going to be players here from the state of Missouri, Truman State especially, I think, that could vie for a GLVC championship and an automatic bid to the NCAA Division II national tournament.
Sure, and I think what you said there sort of speaks to our point about our earlier point about just the quality of athletics in Missouri in general. Right there, you referenced 2 Division II conferences that are powerhouses on a national level in terms of their ability to compete. And so, again, we're trying to bring those stories to you and give those people the recognition that they're due. And we're proud of those programs and proud to be a part of this state and those things that go along with success athletically. Let's kind of transition to NAIA football. Evangel seems to be primed to make a run again.
Yep, they're loaded for bear again, and I think preseason ranked number 14 in the preseason polls, and look for them to climb up those polls week in and week out. They are built for the long haul this year. They had they returned a lot of starters from a national tournament team last year that was able to get into the NAIA football tournament and gain some experience from there. So look for them to be a player on the national scene, not just in the conference.
And I think as coaches, one of the things that you and I both value and understand the importance of is the fact that they've been there now. Just that experience of, sort of a watch party and, hey, who are we playing and where are we going to play and all those kind of things that were maybe sort of new last year. Now, while those things, you don't take them for granted, I think as coaches and players both, you learn to manage those things a little better, and you start to make the most important thing the most important thing. And certainly, I'm not saying that they got caught up in that, but just that experience of being there once will go a long way. So it would not surprise me, to echo your point, that a combination of the returning cast, along with being there, I think could catapult them up into the national conversation again, for sure.
Yep, absolutely. It's going to be fun to watch them progress throughout the year.
Yeah, for sure. Well, you want to shift gears here to volleyball a little bit. Our state is well represented in the area of women's volleyball at all levels. We're really blessed with our volleyball programs in this state.
Absolutely, from top to bottom. Once again, very good conferences that our state schools participate in, and there will be a lot of players team-wise at the national level, and let's get to talking about them.
For sure. I'm going to change it up a little bit. I'm going to start Division II this time. University of Missouri at St. Louis, I think they are ranked really high, possibly as high as 6, if I'm not mistaken. Obviously, they're doing great things there. Central Missouri State, we've mentioned that name already. It seems like they're in the top 15 or 18 in terms of national rankings. So once again, well represented. I think one of the things that we haven't mentioned, and you know this better than I do, Darren, but if you don't follow some of the Division II NAIA programs and athletes, there can be the perception that there is this incredible gap from a Division I athlete to a Division II athlete, and from Division II to NAIA. And you and I know from experience that there are a lot of athletes, male and female, playing at the Division II level that are Division I type athletes and players.
Absolutely. If you're a D1 coach, you better be recruiting pro level players. If you're a D2 coach, you better be recruiting D1 players and on down the line. So I'm sold. They could be a national player. They advanced quite a ways in the NCAA Division II national tournament last year, and of course you've got powerhouse Central Missouri, year in and year out. Their volleyball program is going to be a player in the as one of the top teams in the nation, and these two are in different conferences. Central Missouri is in the MIAA, and UMSL is in the Great Lakes Valley. But keep an eye on these two teams, and there's a few others that could sneak up in there into the national rankings and push these two as far as conference finishes come about.
Referencing NAIA, it appears that there are 4 Missouri schools represented in the top 18 nationally. So well represented there. Columbia, Park College comes in those two are at 7 and 8 national rankings. And then Missouri Baptist comes in at 11. So 3 Missouri schools in the top 12 in terms of national rankings. And then Central Methodist coming in at ranking 18 to start the season.
Yeah, and I would expect to see all 4 make the NAI national tournament. I believe all 4 did last year, and I expect them to be right back in the mix this year. All 4 teams are notorious for going out and scheduling very, very tough pre-conference schedules, and we've started to see a little bit of that here in the last 2 weeks. And looking at some of the scores across the board for these teams, they have played nationally ranked teams at different locales throughout the last 2 weeks. So that's all going to make them better when it comes time for conference. And it'll be interesting to follow them as the season progresses as well. And we can't forget Division III, NCAA Division III, Washington University out of St. Louis. Always top 20 type team. Look for them to be a player as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we've kind of reviewed football and volleyball a little bit. We're going to seek to expand our coverages a little bit as we go a little deeper into this, but we kind of wanted to hit those 2 today. Obviously, we've got some great competitive soccer programs and cross-country programs, and we're going to look to feature those as well sooner rather than later. So sort of be on the watch for that. I know Coach Archer has a great base of knowledge regarding some soccer programs around, so I'm excited to sort of pick his brain about the soccer powers in Missouri and just kind of get the scoop on Missouri soccer. We've enjoyed.
DeRo, real quick, I'm going to interrupt you right here.
Yeah, go ahead.
As far as soccer is concerned, keep an eye on the St. Louis area. St. Louis men are currently ranked number 6 in the nation in NCAA Division I. Their women's team is number 19 in the nation, and the St. Louis Community College women's team is number 17 in the nation. So keep an eye on in St. Louis. We know how special soccer is in St. Louis. There's some teams that can make some noise at the national level. As far as all across the board in the NAI levels and what have you, but very, very good soccer around the state.
And fans, I called it right. Darren knows his soccer, so we'll dive into that some more. He is right. St. Louis seems to be a hotbed of soccer talent. It's an emphasis there. People love it, and we're excited to bring more about that to you and let Darren expand on that a little bit for you down the road. So, hey, we've enjoyed having you today. Again, I want to reach out and encourage you to contact us. Any platform that you want to, we would love to hear from you. We're excited about this venture of sort of making Missouri sports across the board important, making them relevant, making them tangible to the average person. I think that's our goal. There's a lot of stories out there to be told that don't get told of players and teams and coaches and colleges that are doing really great things out there. And maybe it just gets missed or flies under the radar a little bit. So if you have one of those stories or have an athlete or a coach or somebody that you would like us to visit with and feature, we would love to do that. We're planning to do some interviews and get in touch with some college people. We've reached out and via email and some things like that. We've gotten a lot of positive feedback so far. So, Darren, I think we're on to something here. I hope that we can continue to grow this thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Great first show. And folks, we appreciate you tuning in. Be sure to give us a follow on Twitter. At Missouri_sports and at DeRo_on deck. Give us a follow. We'll have information as far as scores and different things like that from around the state and any information that you're looking for. We want to be your one-stop shop for all things college athletics in the state of Missouri.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining us today. This has been On Deck with DeRo and Arch. Happy Labor Day to you. Have a great day. We'll catch you next week.
This has been a presentation of the Missouri Sports Network. Thank you for tuning in.